But the algorithm. Hello and welcome to the Hypertrophy Odyssey chapter 182. It is the fourth day of the week, aka the shotgun dropkick workout. I am on my way to the gym right now, a little bit later than I wanted to, but it is what it is. I will try to get as much of my workout in as humanly possible. Might not get everything, but whatever. Today's subject matter: the YouTube algorithm. The main reason why I wanted to talk about this is because one, it was on the list, but two, also I've noticed that the algorithm has been very interesting recently to me. Well, not that interesting, it's always interesting. It also depends on the time of the year, because depending on the time of the year, you'll get a lot of one thing or a lot of the other thing. But the reason why I wanted to talk about it was because I wanted to look at it from both sides, basically as the consumer and then the producer, basically, because obviously I produce my own content, although I don't like calling it that. I do make my own videos on this platform, so I am a creator, but also as well I am a consumer, so I do consume a lot of content on YouTube. Usually YouTube is my main mode of entertainment whilst at work and or doing anything else. Occasionally it will be Spotify, but I usually save that for the gym, and or occasionally an audiobook, which I've been listening to one recently, but that'll be for another day. So the entire algorithm, I don't want to get too into the nitty-gritty. I'll probably go into the separate camps after this, but looking at it from both sides, it can be very frustrating either side, because I can understand as a consumer it is very easy to have absolutely nothing on your recommended, and then you have to kind of like search for something, and the over-reliance now on shorts is a little bit of an extra little bit of and that goes both ways, especially the shorts thing, but we'll get to that when we get to the entire me talking about it from the other side. But I wanted to talk about this. I don't like that people just call it the YouTube algorithm. Well, I don't mind it being called the algorithm. I don't like the people that shift it around and try to be like, it's your audience. Well, yes and no. I don't believe that it's truly your audience, because the thing is, most of the time, unless you have a really weird, catchy thumbnail, which is a very unfortunate part, which I'll talk about later, it is not necessarily who your audience is. It's more of a who does YouTube decide is your audience, with a couple of things that you've watched in the past. It's like those who argue against the Subway sub being a bad sandwich versus you picked out the ingredients for the sandwich. Why are you complaining? But then if the sandwich in general was ass, like not good ass, but ass is like bad, then why would it even matter the ingredients? If it's all trash, it's all trash, so it doesn't matter. It's a bad sandwich because it was initially bad to begin with, not necessarily you're trying to pick out the shit and it's bad. But then again, it's like, why are you even going to Subway if you think it's trash? But that's a whole other story for a whole other argument. The entire point is that I'm trying to make is that whilst the algorithm from a consumer side is decent, because you just have to play around with it a little bit, just like a few videos and it'll start popping you out with those. Occasionally, depending on how you feel or like your mood, or one fucking video or one sound effect or whatever the fuck they do your algorithm based off of, can really throw things off completely. And I really dislike that, because it can make it so you all of a sudden get nothing but, let's say, one style of like video and or short that is very broad and all-encompassing, or very too specific and narrow, where you're starting to get like the same videos over and over again because it kind of lost itself, not knowing what the fuck do you even want, but it has forgotten everything else that you've liked or interacted with beforehand or watched for a long time, because that's the big one. But I just like to think about it from both sides, because I've seen it recently where I've been watching a lot of financially based YouTubers, so YouTubers based on financing and all that other stuff, so, or just economy, and I've been really into that type of stuff recently. But it's been now throwing me a bunch of their long form videos, when recently at first it started as shorts, and then that's how they get you, right? But still, it is something that I noticed that instantly I stopped getting like things like wrestling videos or like other things like that. They just kind of like stop it, and then they go on to the next thing that you're kind of into. And I don't mind it necessarily. I don't necessarily care for them knowing that, but it is also a little bit like, once I'm done with whatever this little like part of watching this style of content is done, once I'm like, I don't want to watch this anymore, trying to get out of that rabbit hole is a little bit tougher than it is to get in, because then you have to kind of like remember where you want to go back to in order to get it, so it'll show you other things that you're still into but you just aren't into at the moment, you know? And I think that's the main issue, and there's a lot of pigeonholing, but we'll talk about that on the inside. All right, so started to stay off with RDLs, which were pretty good. To get back to the main subject matter here, I wanted to just talk about basically the idea of the algorithm from both sides. And I want to talk about it, I guess, from the creator side. Creator side is a lot different than consuming, because when you're making things, they suggest a lot of things that you have to kind of do in order to get people to come to stay and watch YouTube videos. You kind of have to do certain things in order to, quote, get into the algorithm, quote. And those things are kind of annoying, mostly because you kind of have to do things like, I don't know, basically make it so you have like an appeal to a certain level of audience, or use the famous people's names in order to try to like gain traction that way, or things like that. Follow current trends. Those things quite honestly annoy me personally, and I understand why it's there, but you really see it in a lot of things. I mean, if you ever see a thumbnail with a more popular person than the person that you're watching, that is the main reason why, as well as the reasons why you see people have those previews of what's about to happen in the video itself. The reason why is so that people can have some sort of reason to stay. That is kind of a whole other conversation for a whole other day. It is something that is a little harder to assess, really, because I could sell out a little bit more and make more subject matters that are more drama-esque or topical in the short term, but I dislike it quite a bit, mostly because I don't want to have to do that. That is the thing. It's not necessarily necessary, if that makes any sense, but it is something that YouTube will help you to push you further quickly. Now, I think that as time progresses, this will probably change, and you can see the change in mostly people, because mostly people want to see more normal people in YouTube, not like characters of people, but that's a whole other story that I've made a video on, actually. But another side of this too as well that has kind of changed the game really has been long form content versus short form content, because now short form content is now influencing what you watch in the long term, depending, because sometimes it doesn't. And from the other perspective, as a creator, YouTube is kind of demanding people now to make short form content, whether they are recycling something or using their long form content and chopping it up into short bits. They just want you to make more of it. It is rewarding more people for the idea of, what have you done for me lately? You can see it a lot. That's why a lot of YouTubers are posting more shorts than they probably ever did, because of the fact that YouTube wants it more and more, which is kind of annoying, because as a creator, you have to do these shorts. They're good in the sense that they can get more views and will also get you, get you into that algorithm, that oh so delicious algorithm. But at the same time, they also are pushing the same ideas of, you want a specific thing. They want you to do specific dances or specific styles of videos or sounds or things like that, which gets very annoying, particularly if you're making it. Also, if you're consuming it, I've noticed in the short form content, you like one of, like, let's say a sound, and now all of a sudden they just keep throwing these sounds to you, and it really sucks, because you're like, what the hell? Let me get out of this rabbit hole. And that's the other thing, is just getting pigeonholed into certain things regardless of what you like or not. You like one or two of this style video, they'll just constantly send you the same thing over and over again. It is good in the short term, but in the long term, when you're trying to get out of something, or at least just try to explore a little bit, it's very rare where they'll occasionally actually throw you a bone and give you something else completely different. From the creator side, it also sucks, because then if you get popular because of one video or another, they will only really push the video that is similar to the one that got you popular in the first place. But I have discussed this in a different video. But still, regardless, it is one of those things that just truly sucks, because when you're pigeonholed either way, it's hard to get out of it. It's just a mental and physical climb to get out of it, or else you're just stuck. And some people do like that rabbit hole, but I'm not a huge fan. Ooh, the algorithm. Whoa. And we're back! Welcome to the workout debriefing. Exercise is not filmed. None exercises skipped. We have one. I skipped leg raises because I had to get the fuck out of there. It's time to get out of there. I'm going home relatively late, so I got to go home and do stuff. Unfortunately, it had to be cut for timing reasons. Unfortunate, but has to happen. These are the things that have to happen on these types of days, you know. It's very unfortunate, but it is what it is. But anyways, back to the main subject matter at hand. The algorithm. The reason why I really wanted to talk about it and it came up is because a lot of people on both sides of the coin don't like the algorithm, which I understand. Obviously, it's not something that it is to each their own, just depends on what their each and their own is. But at the same time, you are the curator for the algorithm, so you can make it so you can make it your own and do whatever you want with it. Now, yes, YouTube can fuck you over if you like one too many meme videos, and then all of a sudden your entire feed is fucking meme videos for some reason. Just because you like a few doesn't mean you like all of them. That is something that has happened to me in the past before, which has been an issue, but since rectified. Funnily enough, this is where I would probably plug in the fact that subscribing and liking videos is a great idea. Maybe even, what is the other term I'm looking for? Oh, maybe sharing the video is also a good idea. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. There is that. And from the other side, I can see why YouTubers do that, because really that is how you get noticed, really. It's literally that. If you don't get that, you're fucked. Doesn't matter if you get a viral video. Honestly, getting a viral video makes it almost worse in that you get pigeonholed hard. But I've already probably talked about pigeonholing in the voiceover by now. But anyways, main reason why I wanted to talk about it is just because it is something that comes up, whether it is behind the scenes or for people. It's something that it sucks or sometimes is awesome, because sometimes it will recommend you something so fucking random that you're like, what? And then all of a sudden you find a new YouTuber that you would have never, ever been knowing about and into at all. And then all of a sudden you have like a brand new thing. If you're into music, sometimes it'll show you a playlist that you're like, what the fuck is this? And it's like an awesome banger playlist, and you're like, well, all right, now I have this video. There are some videos that have like no name, and you're like, what the hell is this? And then all of a sudden it's great, and you're like, whoa, okay, it's good. There are some downsides to it, which I've probably already talked about, some like formulaic stuff, those things, which suck, because then you have to like, once one type of style thumbnail blows up, everybody has to do it. That's why has to blow up all the time, that shit, which is super annoying, or that entire thing, which I don't like. I personally find it kind of stupid, but hey, that's a whole other story for a whole other day. I think I've talked about YouTube thumbnails in one of these videos. I've talked about clickbait, but maybe I'll do another one about thumbnails in particular, because they are an interesting beast on their own, but it's a whole other story for a whole other day. But anyways, with that being said, tell me what you think in the comments below. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions about this one. If you have any funny stories about you liking one video and then it ruining your fucking algorithm, I would love to know about that. Or if you've ever made anything, the crossovers that may or may not happen because you get all those analytics now about what people have watched before they watch your videos, or all that are searched or whatever, and how your video has come up. I'm very curious either way. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video with anybody who may or may not like it. I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I will see you in the next one. Keep it heavy. Stay warm out there. Stay safe out there. I'll see you in the next one. Peace!